Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be with you this morning. It would be much better to be with you in person. Sadly, the circumstances that drive the topic of this particular presentation prevent me from being with you. My wife and I have had the pleasure of visiting Sydney in Australia on a number of occasions. It's one of our very favorite places on earth. So when Ted asked me to put together a presentation, deliver it this morning, I was absolutely pleased to do so. Reinventing hotel distribution for a different world. All right, let's start with a quick review of some facts. Fact, we are in a time of substantial disruption and significant change from normal. Fact, how travel will differ in the new normal, and when that will occur is unknown and unknowable. Fact, our immediate business priority and personal priority as well is really survival. Fact, our time frame has shortened. So today we focus on near-term conditions, near-term actions, near-term wins. Fact, for hotels, effective electronic distribution is key to winning reservations and to surviving. So what does it take to achieve effective electronic distribution? Well, I see three bullets that I'm going to focus on this morning. First is the presence of extensive and reassuring health and safety information in the channels where we are presenting and promoting our hotels. Next is the presence of appealing products, appealingly promoted. We do really well in shining up our products on property. We don't always do as well as we might online. We don't always promote them as appealingly as they deserve to be. So I'm going to talk about that. And the third one is competitive rates. And competitive rates are incredibly important, but I'm not going to give them a great deal of time during this presentation because clearly for everyone participating in this session today, rates have been a huge focus. You're very aware of what the market can bear. You're aware of what your competitors are offering and are succeeding with. And I make one more note with respect to rates, and that is that there's increasing evidence that rates are almost a secondary consideration. People want a rate band, a rate spread, but the fact of the matter is if we can give them a good reason to come, provided the rates are within their acceptable category or spectrum, they're going to come. So let me, over the next few minutes, present 5 pandemic relevant strategies that I hope will help you to effectively and successfully electronically distribute your hotel. 5 strategies. Before I do that, a couple of things I want to acknowledge. First, what we know. We know our guests now are local. They're domestic. They're usually drive-up guests, rarely flying. So our guests are local. Secondly, they are leisure guests, where in the past we catered heavily to corporate or tour, government or group. Now we are dealing with leisure. And these leisure guests have priorities, concerns, and expectations that are different from those of the business travelers we've grown accustomed and comfortable to working with. I also think we have to think of the current situation as persisting for at least 12 more months. This is not transitory. It is sufficiently long in time that we want to give our response to it very serious consideration. So with those facts in mind, today, let's seek practical actions with immediate effect and little or no costs. Immediate effect, little or no cost. Okay, the first of the 5 areas I'd like to address is identify and promote your leisure assets. Okay, because we haven't focused necessarily on leisure travelers, we haven't worked hard to identify and promote. So 2 questions. Why do domestic leisure travelers select your destination? And then why do they select your hotel within the destination? I would suggest that the answers to these 2 questions present you to, or allow you, equip you to present and promote your property or properties most effectively. So where are the answers to these 2 questions? I'm going to say they're close by. The answers are available from your staff, your property reviews, and data about your property on social media. The first to do, I'd suggest that you ask your staff, what are the 3 most common questions you receive? Questions you receive at reservations, at the front desk, bell desk if you have one, dining room, room service, concierge desk. The answers and the comments that accompany the immediate answers begin a list of what interests and what attracts leisure travelers to your location and your property. We're building a list of why people come to our area and then why they select our hotel. Incredibly important information available first from our staff. Then I'd suggest we can expand that list by looking at guest reviews of the hotel and traveler reviews of the location. They will give us more data on what people like about us, and frequency of mention will give us a prioritization of the importance of these on-property and in-location attractions. We can further expand our list as we review social media and look at the comments again about the location and about the hotel. Together, the staff, the reviews, and the social media will give us a huge amount of information about the attraction, the points of attraction of our hotel and our location. Not all the feedback is going to be positive. And these are potential areas for attention in the future as time and funds allow. But today, we focus on the positives. We're building the list of why people like us. So, we've put together that list. We've accumulated the data points. With the list in hand, here are several actions to take. First, I ask you to review your website. Does it clearly explain in detail your COVID-19 health and safety precautions? These are top of mind for potential guests. Secondly, does it highlight the features, facilities, services, and experiences that are most important to those leisure guests? Again, we're going back to our lists, and then we're saying, let's use persuasive words accompanied by photos and videos to highlight these features, facilities, services, and experiences. And then does it, on our website, highlight provide the highlights of the location, of the features that draw travelers to your area, and does it indicate the ease of access to them from the property? So we're starting a pattern here where we're going to talk about the on-property facilities and the destination facilities and attractions. And I would suggest to you that if the answer to any one of these questions, these 3 bullet points, is not very well, then there's a pressing need to update the website as soon as possible, adding this data. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, we're going to perform a similar exercise with the primary OTA listings. And these are probably OTAs either specifically or related to Booking.com and Expedia. We're going to ask these same questions. Do our listings in the OTAs appealingly present the important features of our property and the experiences at the property? Do they clearly and in detail talk about our COVID-19 health and safety precautions? And do they indicate the ease of access from the hotel to the highlights in the area? If the answer to any of these questions is not very well, then it's time to promptly request updates from the OTAs. All right, that's number 1. Number 2 action, manage your key distribution channels. And that really is a question of, or a matter of identifying them and then managing them. So the 2 strongest hotel booking channels for your properties are likely direct and OTA. And by direct, I mean direct with the brand website or the property website if the property is an independent, as well as contact by phone, email, or SMS. So one of the 2 strongest channels is going to be direct by these leisure guests. The other one is going to be via OTA, online travel agency. Now, we prefer direct contact. We like the fact that it's low cost. We like the fact that there are so many opportunities as they visit the website and work through the booking engine to sell, to upsell, and to sell add-ons. So it's an important sales opportunity. It's also, I use the word here, relationship supportive, which is to say, that there's the opportunity to create and then expand and enrich a relationship with that guest, to turn them into both an advocate for the hotel and a repeat guest. So we're really keen about direct bookings, but we also are more than prepared to accept bookings from online travel agencies. OTAs are expensive, but our first priority here is heads and beds, so they're a necessary expense. These are the two major channels for hotels around the world at this point as they court and secure leisure bookings, so we're going to be watching them. Now, we, with these channels, are going to be monitoring and strengthening our sales content that we just talked about. We want to make sure that everything that we should have in these channels is present and is phrased accordingly. But before we move decisively ahead with the OTAs, we need to decide which of the OTAs should receive our priority attention. It's entirely possible that your property is in 3 or 5 or 15 or 50 online travel agencies. We can't give them all the careful attention that we might under normal circumstances. Here, we need to whittle it down and say which are the 3 or 5 of the OTAs available to us and which we participate. Which are the 3 or 5 that are providing us with the highest flow of reservations, with reservations at a rate that we're happy with, reasonably happy anyway, and for guests who have a likelihood of spending on property and having a length of stay that is what we're looking for. So we're evaluating OTAs on the basis of that, and we're saying, all right, for those OTAs, what rates and room types do we want to make sure are listed for sale? And we want to look at them and say, in which of their promotions do we want to participate? So we're going to identify the OTAs that we want to give priority attention to. Plus, we're going to think of social media as an additional soft distribution channel. We can't get bookings through Facebook and other social media channels, but we can make sure that we are present, active, and putting forward appealing messages through well-chosen words and photos. So as we manage key distribution channels, some actions to take. First, ensure that your staff understand that your website is your primary and preferred booking route. Recommend its use to all prospective and repeat guests. We want to play up the website as the place to go, the best source of information, the best source of rates, the best source of interaction with us. And I note here that we want especially to be aware of our loyalty program guests. The experience over the last few months has shown that loyalty program participants are major users of the direct channel. They are the people who come back again and again, more than occasional guests. They come back again and again to book on our website. So we want to bear that fact in mind and evaluate how we recognize them. What efforts we take, given our technical capabilities, to recognize them as they log in and search for accommodation at our property. Then what actions we take in terms of pre-arrival communication with them, of reaching out and saying, we're happy you're here, what can we do for you? And recognize them at every touch point when they arrive and when they're on property. These are important people. So actions, we promote our website. We recognize our loyalty program members. We select the OTAs, as we've talked about, to receive priority attention. And part of that selection means working fully to understand the opportunities they offer. There will be a lot of promotions available. Not all of them are suitable for us. We need to look at them hard and keep an ongoing watch on them because they're constantly popping new promotions. So we're going to watch those promotions, say which ones do we want to participate in. And now in capitals, I have the word but. We want to avoid making long-term commitments to the OTAs. Online travel agents are very good business people. They realize they have leverage in times of distress like now. So they are looking to us to sign agreements and to make commitments to offer them preferred rates, maybe our very best rates and preferred availability of our inventory. We're going to say as best we can, no, we're happy to work with you in the short term. We need to take time to work through this. We need to understand what the outcome's going to be at the end of 8 or 12 or 15 months. So we're not in a position to make long-term commitments. We'll do short-term. We'll work together as partners. And then the third action, we're going to watch for opportunities to promote or discuss the hotel on social media. Point number 3. Be swiftly and effectively responsive. Okay. Like you and I, travelers have become accustomed to immediate service. Ideally, that service is not only swift, but it's informed and appealing. Not only swift, but informed and appealing. A prompt and well-phrased response can make the difference between your hotel being selected or another property being chosen. So we want to be able to communicate. We want to do it in a swift and appealing manner. Fair enough. That's task, we'll say, number 3. So how do we do that? We remember from point number 1 that we have our list of key assets. The points of appeal with respect to your hotel and your destination. We want to regard every guest and prospective guest interaction as a sales or upselling opportunity. In order to do that effectively, we want to prepare in advance to respond to them in detail, reassuringly, and persuasively. And then we want to respond swiftly. We need to, in advance, think about what we're going to say and how we're going to say it and how we're going to package our words with other resources, if you will, photos, videos, and so on. And I add here as a footnote, we want to reward the hotel staff who generate additional bookings. We're going to be asking those hotel staff to tailor how they speak with prospective guests and to be very, very responsive. So we want to say thank you so that they feel very much involved in this process. So actions in support of swift and effective response. We're going to start by crafting how to describe the appeal of the hotel and the location. And that crafting process means we're going to prepare a list of phrases, sentences, paragraphs, photos, and video links about the hotel, and then about your neighborhood and about your community. And we're going to ask staff to use them in verbal and written communications. We know that there is the right phrase. We want to make sure we use it. We don't want to hobble people in their communication, but we want to say, as we're talking about someone and they say, what's in the neighborhood, our priority is say 1, 2, and 3. Then we want to set a speed to answer standard for incoming calls. I make reference here at the end to 80-20, and that refers to the general standard in hotel and other call centers, contact centers, with respect to answering incoming telephone calls. The standard is that you attempt to answer 80% of the calls in 20 seconds, 80% in 20 seconds. That is a tough standard. But what it does is set a goal for us to say, when the phone rings, jump on it. And we want to have similar standards for our contacts via email, texts, guest reviews, and social media mentions. It may be respond within 30 minutes, within 2 hours, same day. And it can vary whether it's a text or an email or a guest review. But we want to have standards that say we want action within this amount of time and indirectly say, these are important to us. Number 4, within distribution, I want to think in terms of the products that I'm putting through my distribution channels. And I want to think in terms of how I can be creative. All right. It's easy to think of ourselves as primarily lodging providers, as primarily supplying a place to sleep, and secondarily being a source of several or many accompanying amenities. Today we're serving leisure guests. Their priorities are, as we've discussed, different from those of leisure travelers. Leisure travelers may have been thinking first and foremost about that place to sleep, and given very little thought to us as a destination, as more than a bedroom. So for urban and especially for primarily commercial properties, how do we refocus on recognizing and promoting our destination assets? All right, good question. We've already done a good deal of the preparatory work. In point one, we identified what guests like about our hotel. To that list, that library of ideas and facts, we also think in terms of adding the hotel's assets, those assets with leisure appeal that may not already be on our list. The swimming pool, the outdoor barbecue area, outdoor games such as croquet. Is there a games room? Are there weekly movies or evening movies? Is there something special on weekends? Is there a cocktail lounge with innovative cocktails or dining outlets with regional specialties or fun themes? So we're putting together this list of assets from our original list, and then what we add through thinking of the hotel and what's around it, assets that make our property a destination for a leisure traveler. They're going to come, they're going to spend the day, they're going to spend a weekend or a week on our property because we've got a lot for them to see and do. Okay, so our challenge is to identify and then actively promote these in-house facilities and experiences. We may enhance them as we give more thought to them and as time and funds allow, but we're going to actively promote what's on property. And then the second challenge for us, because not everyone comes to our property just to enjoy the hotel. We as hoteliers may take delight in seeing other properties when we go to a destination. That may not be what everyone wants to do. So it's time for us to think beyond the four walls of our hotel. Our leisure guests, though it's sometimes hard to admit, select us because of what is outside our front entrance, our front door. So if we exit the hotel and walk to the left, what is available to view, to explore, to enjoy? If we were to walk out and go straight ahead, what's available to view, explore, and enjoy? And the same question to the right, to view, explore, enjoy. And then within an easy bus ride or car ride, what's available to view, explore, enjoy? In days past, we didn't have to be particularly concerned about this because we were, in many cases, a corporate hotel, because we could leave it to people on their own to find out. Now that we are striving to be a destination, we want to play up all those things that are around us, that are appealing, that are rewarding. So in answering those questions about what is available to the left, to the right, center, nearby, we want to answer the what is available question with the words, photos, videos, podcasts, first, that expand the story about what there is for prospective guests in our hotel and in our neighborhood. We want to build and expand the story. And in doing so, that expands the reasons for prospective guests to reserve at our hotel. We are putting together very important and appealing stories. So, actions, providing information that we can put in the distribution channels that will drive business to us. First is to build our on-property experience stories. And that means, as we've talked about, inventorying and enhancing our current facilities, and then framing them through our words as experiences. The pool, cocktail, and barbecue evenings. Okay, good example. We're taking what we have in terms of assets and trying to frame them as experiences. We're developing text descriptions, photos, and videos of those experiences to be posted on the website and Facebook pages. We want to make people aware that they're there and to do so in an appealing manner. We want to develop a slideshow or a video style tour of the hotel narrated by the concierge or the front desk manager. A walk around the property such as a salesperson would do, but in this case aimed at leisure travelers, and it doesn't have to be terribly professional. It needs to be serviceable, but especially for the video, it can be done on an iPhone. We want authenticity. We want people to feel that we appreciate them and are sharing our thoughts, our passion for our property. So we build that on-property experience. We complement what we have there in terms of descriptions and photos and so on with maps. I'm thinking here of floor plans, jogging routes, neighborhood maps showing the points of interest and highlights that are outside the front door, and then access routes to the hotel from major roadways. As part of our on-property experience stories, we want to invite past guests, and you may already be doing this, to share their memories of visiting the hotel. Effectively, these become recommendations, they become testimonials. They're important. They're real comments from real people, so we want them especially on our website. And we want to invite prospective guests to ask questions about the hotel and surrounding area. They may be reticent, they don't want to bother us. We want to say, phone us, email us, text us. However, we really are proud and pleased with what we have to offer you, and we want to tell you about it. So number one is to build our on-property experience stories. Number two is to build our location experience stories. And here I'm thinking of creating amateur walking tour videos. Again, iPhone in hand. I want to complement those with things to do recommendations for various types of leisure guests, for singles, couples, families, and so on, and post them on the website. I want to assemble neighborhood and community recommendations from our concierge and from our chef and post them. And I want to remind people that we are happy to help them either through the concierge or the front desk with a wide variety of services. They may not be aware that we can help them with auto rentals, with guided tours, sightseeing recommendations, dining reservations, both on property and nearby, and attraction reservations. So we want to make sure that they know we can facilitate and enrich their location, their destination experience when they come to visit us. And we can also point out where appropriate that the discounts are available for guests in some cases, or we keep to ourselves the fact that there's a commission available to the hotel. All right. Action third and last, promote your hotel as a well-informed and welcoming local host. We are here not only on behalf of the hotel, but the destination. We really want to come. We want to welcome you. We want to serve you. So that wraps up point number 4 and takes us to our fifth and final point. Develop new products and services. Yes, as we've talked about, your hotel is more than just bedrooms. There are all the things to do on property. But I want to say, too, that bedrooms themselves are more than just bedrooms. They offer us wonderful opportunities for innovation. So we've become accustomed to WFH, work from home, but there's an alternative understanding of WFH, work from hotel. And various hotel brands are putting together packages, no doubt some of the brands you're affiliated with. The good example is what Marriott's done with their Day Pass, Stay Pass, Play Pass program. They have it in North America and Europe, and they are expanding it quickly worldwide. And it is options for travelers to use a room in a different way and with different accompaniments or supplements or amenities. So worth checking. The next idea is, if you have multiple properties within Australia, to think in terms of a subscription program. Citizen M Hotels has put together a very interesting one that combines room nights, 3 room nights per month, plus lobby access and the opportunity to do in-lobby meetings for no charge additional to the subscriptions. They generally charge now a lobby access fee. So lobby access, daily beverages, a coffee through the day, a happy hour beer, and that sort of thing. Interesting idea, subscriptions. Another is to market long-term hotel room rentals, guest room rentals, where a person has their guest room for 2 or 3 weeks, using it occasionally. They're not paying full rate for every night, but where the hotel isn't full, it may be possible to put together an attractive and worthwhile long-term hotel rental program. Connecting rooms can become family rooms with F&B freebies. So it becomes a mini family suite. We can make it attractive with add-ins. We can think of how we help people with their workcations. Their pair of rooms or a set of rooms become a remote classroom as well as a remote working room for the parents, kids and parents in adjoining rooms, and the opportunity then to enjoy the facilities of the hotel and the neighborhood at the end of day. A few more secluded dining packages, dining on the beach, dining in the garden. Day rates. Day rates are very hot. Either the guest room alone from 8 to 6 or 9 to 5, or bundled with add-ons, gym access, pool access, any number of possibilities. And it may include as an F&B credit as well. Meeting rooms become remote classrooms. Meeting rooms or guest rooms become venues from multimedia shoots and podcasts. All kinds of ways that we can provide unusual facilities to local service users. And I wrap up here with 2 final points. Bundling with the guest room regional amenities or regional point of interest access. We do unusual bundles. And in some cases, we can do those bundles as experiences created with local partners. So I would suggest to you, as we look around, this list starts an array of ideas, and you'll see others as you do more exploring, things that can be done to make the property an enticing destination for non-standard reasons. Okay, now the fact of the matter is that not all of these are easily promoted through the current hotel booking technology. The CRSs that we use won't handle day rates in some cases or other things. Some we can build as packages, some we can't. In some cases, we're going to have to ask people, as we provide the description on the website of these various options, ask them to call us directly. That's not optimal, but it's certainly acceptable, and it can result in good business for us. So the action here, be creative. Think out of the box about how hotels and facilities can be marketed, can be bundled, can be configured, can be described to be something unusual and appealing during the pandemic. In summary, the time has gone by quickly. We talked about identifying and promoting your leisure assets, putting together that list and library of information about the leisure assets in a prioritized fashion so that we can know what and how we want to portray them to the marketplace. Manage your key distribution channels. That means putting great emphasis on the website and making sure that it has the data, the information, the pictures, the videos, the links that we want. And then that we are putting the data in the secondary distribution channels, the OTAs, and social media. We're aiming to be swiftly and effectively responsive. We want to respond quickly, and we want to have just the right message to those leisure travelers that'll drive them to our destination and to our hotel. We want to think of the bedroom and the hotel as a destination. We want to have more that we can offer through the electronic distribution channels, and that begins with thinking of us as a destination and promoting our neighborhood as a destination. And finally, we want to develop new products and services. As we have seen in looking at bullet number 5, there are lots of interesting possibilities. Open our minds, and we can find fun offers to make to prospective guests to attract them to our location and to our hotel property. So That's been a lot of data in a very little bit of time. I hope it's been useful. Ted, I hope it's been the presentation you wanted.
John, thank you very much for your words of wisdom. I think some great action points for people to take away. Everyone, could you please join me and thank John Burns?